Hello and welcome. I'm Tafaraq Damoum. The Institute of Ethiopian Studies of the Addis Ababa University has already turned 60. But is it what it used to be? A premier institution for research on Ethiopian ethnography, languages, history, and so on? My guest today, Dr. Desalegn Amsalu, heads the Institute's Research and Publications Department. A very warm welcome to the program, Dr. Desalegn.
Thank you very much for having me.
So you have done 15 or 16 years at the Institute of Ethiopian Studies, right?
Yeah, that is true, since 2008.
And only last week, your journal, the journal that you published, Journal of Ethiopian Studies, it turned 60 this week, right?
Yes, that is true. So we had a small event 2 weeks ago in order to celebrate 60 years of anniversary of the Journal of Ethiopian Studies.
And
it's one of the oldest journals in the country. I actually know another journal which is contemporary, Journal of Health or Health Studies. So the Journal of Ethiopian Studies is the oldest or probably one of the oldest journals in the country. Yeah.
Outside of the university circle, I'm afraid it's very little known. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, I think that is true. For the general public, I think it is limited. It is only well known among the academics. So researchers know it very well, students know it very well, like graduate students know it very well. Actually, before many things go digital these days, it was one of the most read journals, I would say, in the country. So it is very much reputable and it is very much well known, but in the academic circle. Yeah.
Why is it not so popular, at least known as much as it is within the academic circles? Why?
I think that we need to look at this in a broader perspective. I mean, not only our journal, the rest of journals, I would say, and academic research are not really well known outside the academic community. So the first thing is because there is a limitation of language. Most of our research outputs are done in English. Whereas, the public, English is not used among the public. That is one of the reasons. And I think the major reason, and the other reason I would say is also this. I mean, our publications are only done in hard copy. So we don't have digital or online options to be accessible for the public, not only for the public, for the also academic community. So people have to come to library and find them and read. But since recent times, they are also available online. For example, our journal is available online at JSTOR. So, people can go to JSTOR and find for free. And also we have EJOL, Ethiopian Journals Online, which is run by Addis Ababa University. And also the Ministry of Education has another platform to put all Ethiopian journals online. So our journal is also available at EJOL. So, today it is better. We are appearing online as well, but traditionally the publishing platform, as you know, is manual. It is available only manually. Yeah.
So, talking about research at your institute, as I knew it from many years ago, I mean, what the Institute basically did was facilitate research of foreign scholars undertaking research in Ethiopia, primarily in social anthropology and also history and so on.
Yeah.
How about today? Is that mix, local researchers, international researchers, is that mix maintained?
Yeah, that is one of the pillars, one of the activities of my institute. I think I may need to speak about it in a broader sense. We have 3 sections, 3 major sections, and one of them is research and publication. And the other
that is a wing that you manage?
Yes, that is a wing that I am in charge of. And we have also museum section. It is the first university museum in the country, and I think it is one of the leading, I would say, ethnographic museums in the country. It is well known. And also we have...
That started with collections by Professor Chojnacki, Stanislaw Chojnacki, that Polish-Canadian scholar.
That is true.
With all this material culture.
That is true. That is how it has been established. And the third section that we have is library section. That is also very big. We have very big collections, nearly 250,000. We have nearly 250,000 resources. So we have manuscripts, we have photographs, we have archives. So together these archives, manuscripts, photographs, and also other forms of primary resources account nearly 40,000, right? And we have published materials, so wells of published materials, books, articles, and student papers, dissertations, and master's theses. So together we have like 250,000 materials at the Institute of Ethiopian Studies. So it is rich. So coming to research. So yeah, research and publication does the following things. One is it hosts a journal, it publishes a journal. So the Journal of Ethiopian Studies, the prestigious Journal of Ethiopian Studies, I would say, is run by the Research and Publication Unit. And also we host researchers, so foreign researchers. So that is
these are people who do research in your library,
and also people who do research who do the field work. So we host those researchers maybe for 1 year, for 2 years, and they do research. They use both library resources and also go to the field work and collect data. So it coordinates research that are conducted by foreign scholars. So these foreign scholars, once they finish their research, they have to do a seminar at the Institute of Ethiopian Studies, right? And not only we coordinate research, which is done by foreign scholars, which we host, we also do research by our own research staff. So our staff is interdisciplinary. We have scholars who specialize in social anthropology, in sociology, in history, in linguistics, in gender studies, and many other fields of social science and humanities. So I would say today the major research activity is done by the research staff of the Ethiopian research staff instead of the expatriate staff. So we also do research.
Ethiopian research staff, meaning exclusively those working at the IES or also
those working at the IES. Yeah, as I said, we have interdisciplinary staff that specialize in different fields of social science and humanities. So every year we produce a lot of research outputs. We publish abroad in journals abroad, and we also publish in journals locally, such as the Institute of Ethiopian Studies. And the other thing that the research unit does is to organize academic events. So we have regular academic events. One of them, and I would say the prestigious one, is International Journal of Ethiopian Studies. So in 2022 September, end of September and beginning of October, we organized the latest workshop, the 21st International Conference of Ethiopian Studies. We have hosted about 300 people, at the premises of Addis Ababa University. And previously we had organized a workshop at Mekelle, and then at Redwa, and then Poland, Warsaw, and then at different European countries as well.
Happening at regular intervals, sometimes irregular.
Sometimes it may be somehow irregular because of some unforeseen circumstances. For example, COVID-19. Due to COVID-19, there was some delay in the last...
But before that, too, there was some...
Well, generally, I would say it is organized somehow regularly. So, yeah, that is what we do. Next time, we are organizing another international conference, 22nd International Conference at Hawassa, at Hawassa University. Hawassa University is hosting the next international workshop. We also do annual workshops. We also do regular seminars, monthly seminars, and we also do special seminar series. So this is what we do at the Institute of Ethiopian Studies. And also don't forget that we do teaching, right? So we do teaching. We have a graduate program. Previously, we used to have Ethiopian Studies, a graduate program in Ethiopian Studies. That was interrupted for some time. And then we reopened it as in the MA program or graduate program in indigenous knowledge systems of Ethiopia, and we are running now as a social anthropologist. I go to the Department of Anthropology to teach a course. and also historians go to the Department of History, and others go to their departments to teach also a course. So we do a lot of things.
So as far as hosting foreign scholars, international scholars, whatever you call them, it's not what it used to be now at your institute, because there are other institutions spread across the country,
yes,
hosted by different universities, regional universities that are competing for the same resource, right?
Yes, that is true.
And with that, the inter-university link that used to be there, as far as your institute is concerned, is to a large extent no longer there, no more there.
To some extent, yes. The Institute of Ethiopian Studies was a flagship institute. So people know, I would say, people know the institute more than perhaps they know the university. I mean, the image they have is more probably the image of the Institute of Ethiopian Studies. It is a flagship institute of the university. So many scholars, foreign scholars from Europe and America used to come to the institute, and we used to host them. So many of them. They have trained a number of local scholars, Ethiopian scholars in PhD, and also in fieldwork, actually. So we used to host a number of them. But since some time, so the number of foreign scholars is decreasing, I would say, for a number of reasons. Firstly, I think following some financial shocks in Europe and also America, for example, COVID-19, and also the 2008 incident, financial crisis. So I would say that the flow of foreign scholars to do research in Ethiopia seems to be decreasing. That is my personal assessment. And secondly, now, as I said, the institute used to be the leading institute in hosting, doing research in social science and humanities, and it is still one of the leading, and I would say the leading institute. But now foreign scholars have the liberty to go to, different universities. The number of universities have increased in Ethiopia, and also the number of scholars have also increased. So if a certain scholar wants to do a research in South Omo, well, they would go to Arba Minch University, and even now people go to Jinka University, perhaps.
Which used to be your exclusive territory.
Which used to be our exclusive territory. For example, we have there is a Jinka Museum. So Jinka Museum used to be the responsibility of the Institute of Ethiopian Studies at first, and then we collaborated with Arba Minch University to lead the museum, and now even Arba Minch University has lost it, and now it is being managed by Jinka University. So that is how universities are evolving in Ethiopia, and doing research in Ethiopia is evolving. So yeah, I think these are major reasons, but still we.
Does that serve somehow as an opportunity for you to explore areas of cooperation in terms of research, or you're stuck in the middle of nowhere?
Yes, there are still universities which come to our scholars, which come to the Institute of Ethiopian Studies and do research, want to be hosted, right? So because the Institute of Ethiopian Studies also provides a range of facilities, I think more than any other university in the country. So as I said, we have 250,000 resources as the Institute of Ethiopian Studies, and some of them are rare.
But as far as doing fieldwork is concerned, it's a totally different story.
What they do is they get permission from our institute, and they can do fieldwork at Arba Minch University, at Jinka or somewhere. I mean, still we have a good size of foreign scholars, right? So as I said, one of the reasons is because we have still a good facility. And no university, I would say, is comparable to the resources that we have, because we have some scarce, rare resources such as manuscripts and archives, right? And secondly, we are still also struggling to maintain our relationship with foreign scholars and foreign universities, and also we are exploring new, avenues of partnership.
So, are you not also facing some kind of competition from centers within the university? Like, I'm thinking of the Academy of Ethiopian Languages, which basically looks into what you try to to do in terms of research as the institute, right?
Yeah.
Is that unnecessary competition, you think? You could have fallen under the same umbrella or whatever? I don't know.
But from the research point of view, from administrative point of view, well, it might be possible to put together, those institutes and then maybe have bigger and stronger institute, maybe from administrative point of view. But from research point of view, as you know, we have enough, in terms of intellectual inquiry. There is enough to do research in Ethiopia. So, for example, Academy of Ethiopian Language, they do, research which the Institute of Ethiopian Studies is not really primarily preoccupied with, for example, compiling dictionaries, right? Compiling dictionaries. So that is their strength, right? And we have also our own strengths. We have our own strengths. For example, we have history, scholars in history, social anthropology, and so on and so forth. So we have our own strengths in the sense that, number one, we are interdisciplinary. So we put our expertise together. So like we just develop a project and we put historians, anthropologists, linguists together. So we come up with some project idea which is interdisciplinary and the output of research which is truly interdisciplinary. That is number one. Number two, I would say that we really do some topics which are academic and which are, I would say, neglected by some other, I would say, institutes or departments or centers, right? So there are some topics, for example, indigenous belief systems of Ethiopia, right? So marriage systems of Ethiopia, or other types of, topics which are really, that need some sort of documentation and also some sort of interdisciplinary engagement. So I would say that we do research, that kind of research. We also focus on, as I said, marginalized topics. For example, we have done research in Gambela, an interdisciplinary research in Gambela. Now we have Gambela University probably, that we do more research. We also did research in Benishangul Gumuz. We do research in peripheries. So we focus on areas which are somehow marginalized and which are less conducted by other centers or departments. So in that sense, I would say that it is really a co-production of knowledge. There are a lot of things to do, by the way, in this country, a lot of things to do which we have not still done. So we still need more and more effort. So seen from that point of view, I would say that, okay, we are putting different efforts to study Ethiopia from different perspectives. So I would say it is more of collaboration than competition.
You think it's complementary?
It is complementary, yeah.
Do you see a future for these two institutions coming together under the same umbrella?
But I think this is an administrative question.
But as a researcher, as someone who is engaged in this,
if I have the authority to decide, maybe I would like to see the two institutes somehow differently. For example, we have to do a lot of linguistic documentation in the country, right? A lot of linguistic documentation. And we have to do also a lot of audiovisual documentation in this country. So, we have an audiovisual section also, which is part of the library. So the audiovisual section, the audiovisual documentation is very much marginalized intellectual engagement in this country. So I would say that, okay, take some part to the Institute of Ethiopian Studies, give some part to the other one, and then I would like to see two stronger institutions.
Well, it partly could be partly because this academy was transferred from the Ethiopian Ministry of Culture straight to the university. But speaking of the Ministry of Culture, now Ministry of Tourism, traditionally archaeology, paleontology, and so on have always been the jurisdiction of the Ethiopian Ministry of Culture, now the Ministry of Tourism, right?
Yeah, okay.
You don't have...
As a matter of fact, I think that is true. I don't know if that is legally... You are asking me in terms of hosting foreign scholars.
Exactly. You can't. This is done through archaeology.
It is done through
the Ministry of Culture.
Universities also do that. Universities, for example, at Tarat Kilo, we have a paleoanthropology department.
But there is a department, but you need to get the license to do field work from the Ministry of Tourism.
Ministry of the PIA, probably, I'm not sure about.
So that's a clear line right there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a researcher, as a social anthropologist, do you think, do you find it pretty easy or difficult to do research anywhere in Ethiopia? What are the challenges that you need to get through? What are the steps that you need to get through as a researcher, as a social anthropologist in this country?
Yes, that is a very good question. There are a lot of opportunities and challenges to do research in Ethiopia as an anthropologist. To start with opportunities, we have a lot of things to do. Ethiopia is rich and very dynamic. It is not only rich, it is very dynamic. Things change so fast. So we have to catch up. We have to do, a lot of research. And we need to have a lot of research institutes to catch up the dynamics in this country, right? So
you mean Ethiopia as a multi-ethnic society?
Multi-ethnic society. The country is very rich and diverse in terms of culture. And also the political element adds a lot of diversity, dynamics here, right? So things change very fast. For example, some languages revive, some languages die. You need to ask why. And also we have to catch up with the diversity, not only the diversity and also the dynamics. So it is rich. Ethiopia is rich to do anthropological research, right? This is one opportunity, and the other opportunity is now we are having departments and institutes also who are interested in anthropological research, and also the industry seems to be also to some extent getting familiar with what anthropology is.
So you have consumers.
We have, I think the number of consumers is increasing from time to time, right? So a lot of, we do a lot of consultancy as anthropologists, right? Anthropology is now also common course for the Ethiopian first-year students across all Ethiopian universities, right? We teach common course for first-year students, right? And also we have departments at different universities. So anthropology is getting popular. They're getting both in terms of academic discipline and also in terms of professional engagement. These are two major opportunities that I see. Challenge, one obvious reason is that, in the first place, when you do anthropological research, you have to go somewhere and stay there. Especially if it is a place which you don't know before, a culture place where you are not familiar with before. You have to stay there and learn. So classical anthropologists used to do field work for 1 year, at least 1 year. They have the reason.
Base there, live there.
You have to move for 1 year at least. So there is methodological reason why we have to be stationed there for 1 year. But we may not necessarily stay 1 year today, but anthropological fieldwork requires staying a longer period of time compared to other research which use, for example, survey methods. So you have to stay there, you have to live there, learn the life of people and also the culture of people throughout the year, how they live throughout the year. That is theoretically how we do research. But there are challenges to do this kind of research today. In the first place, the funding problem, because we need to cover our expenses to stay for a longer period of time. And secondly, we also combine teaching and research. So you cannot stay away for a long period of time while you are doing teaching. So you have to leave teaching and do anthropological research. And the other challenge, as you know, is peace. So you have to travel freely. You have to be accepted by the community, by the people, accepted as a researcher, not as someone who is politically affiliated or this or that. So I think the political conditions, such as the conflicts that we have today, is really a challenge, more especially for anthropological research. These are the challenges.
Well, excellent. Thank you very much for your time. It was really a pleasure having you on my show.
Thank you very much again. Thank you again for having me.